Thank you for tuning in to this week's Pirates Parley. We have Blueshift's rock superstar. Give it up for Leonardo! Yay!
Let's go.
Mi
Thank you, Steve, for
fratello!
exactly. Thanks, me, Fratello, for having me here for Pirate Parlay. Really excited, really excited. See, so a lot of chat already came and like talked a lot of good stuff, big brain stuff. So hopefully, well, I'm not that big brain, so hopefully we'll still keep the conversation on a high level. But I know that with my friend Steve, they're always surprised. So
All right.
thank you for having me.
The first people are coming into the chat. I see Alexander Gray. Thanks for watching. Let's jump straight into it. Tell me a little bit about who you are, a brief overview of your wild career in the Solana ecosystem because you've done like 20 things already. And then let's take it from there.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, I started. Well, I'm Leo. For anybody that doesn't know me, I'm 25 and I'm not an alcoholic. But yeah, let's move forward. So yeah, I started I guess 3 years ago in the Solana ecosystem, and yeah, when I started actually, I didn't even know how to code, and I started like I wanted to learn coding so much that I guess like my first approach to coding was actually writing my first program on Solana. So that was how I started. After that, thanks to the help of like all my mentors, so we have Dean, we have like a lot of very very good people in the space. From there on, I started like growing my niche. So maybe talking about like program development, becoming a DevRel, and yeah, I worked at Metaplex. Uh, I worked in a lot of places to be honest in the last 3 years, and now I finally found my forever home. Hopefully, that is Blueshift. That is the company that I co-founded with Dean and David. So, yeah.
So, what is Blueshift? Because I have heard about Metaplex. They built the open source token standard and they do a lot of stuff with NFT minting and rent optimizations. But what is Blueshift?
Yeah, so Blueshift pretty much it's difficult to categorize Blueshift into a single thing, but like the way that I like to explain is like Blueshift is it could be everybody's dreams job. So we don't focus on like single things, but we focus more on like how can we put forward the Solana ecosystem and what do we like to do. And by putting all these two concepts together, we pretty much like created three different vertical where we operate. The first one is the education stuff. So we we work on pretty much everything that relates to software development, from beginner to more advanced to even something extremely advanced like assembly optimization. Then we work on the open source stuff. So we are core maintainer of like a lot of open source repo. We have tons of open source tooling that we created ourselves. We support a lot of the open source contributor by giving them a stipend and just like helping letting them help us make the open source ecosystem better on Solana. And the third and for all, and this is what actually makes the money for us to be all these amazing stuff is our dev shop. So we work mainly with institutional partner or like people that are coming onto Solana. So people that really have their product nailed down, but they don't have enough maybe Solana knowledge, or in general like they want their best product to be on Solana right now. So usually they come to us. We develop the whole MVP, we make it extremely efficient, we make it extremely optimized, and then like we just like ship it to mainnet.
That's amazing. So basically, you guys do whatever you feel like and whatever is presented to you and where you see a challenge.
Yes, exactly. Let's say that we really like to solve very hard challenges. And so whenever we see something that we don't currently like, or something that it's extremely difficult that like a lot of smart people are trying to figure out how to do it, this is like the perfect time where we jump in and try to get our flair on.
Nice. So you mentioned that you guys build a lot of open source tooling. Can you name some examples? I hope that
Yeah,
many developers will find this podcast eventually and learn what there is and how to learn from other, but also not do duplicate work and use open source tooling.
yeah, for sure. So for the core like we're core maintainer of like the probably the developer repo that a lot of the developer use. So we are core maintainer on Anchor, we're core maintainer on Pinocchio, we're core maintaining on Molus. So for anybody that doesn't know what these repo are, Anchor and Pinocchio are pretty much like the two standard framework on how to build programs on Solana. Anchor is a little bit less optimized, but it's way more verbose and like it's way better for beginner because it's really safeguarded. Pinocchio instead is like a more optimized version. We're gonna talk about Pinocchio later, but so just as an introduction, is a very optimized framework that actually doesn't have any guardrail. So it's way similar to programming native, but it's way more efficient. And Mollusk, that is the third repo that I mentioned, is a testing software developed by Joe Buffalo from now Anza X Foundation. And yeah, pretty much it's we started contributing because we needed a lot of our stuff tested out. So we decided to just like try to make it better for everybody once we found like some bugs or like some more feature that we could implement. Then on our own tooling, we have Sheila, that is our own take of like the Solana CLI. We started doing these, I think, a month ago. The effort has been led by Naga Prasad, Arthur, and Sonny from New York. If you guys go into any open source repo on Solana, you probably will see one of these three names. So all three guys are decided to try to make a Solana CLI that we actually liked and we actually wanted to use every day. And so in 1 month that it's been up, we received over 120 PR, I guess, from other contributor that wanted to improve that. And so we're trying to now we are at a point where it's completely equal to the Solana CLI. And now it's the fun part because now we can actually attach all the new stuff that we actually want to do.
So you redid the whole thing.
Yes, we redid the whole thing with our own flair, and then it's like, okay, now that we're feature parity, and there is no way that nobody wanted to use our thing because we didn't have any feature. It's like, okay, now let's make it better, and so now we're trying to improve on top of like all the infrastructure that we built in the last one to actually make it a very good experience for both developer, user, and like whatever stakeholder might want to use that.
I see Alexander Gray is a big fan. He just mentioned it in the chat, so that's good. So what what is in your eyes the current state of open source software and the open source software culture in on Solana?
So I guess at the start we were really bad. Like a lot of people were saying that Swan was really bad for the open source stuff, just because it was mostly program related. Wasn't really great because a lot of people prefer to leave their the repo closed source because of like, or because they didn't want other people to steal their innovation, or just like more for security reason. Then we understood that making a repo non-open source is an actual protection against hackers. And so I think like now we actually have a very good open source way, open source ecosystem of like a lot of projects that are actually deciding to go open source, because now we have verifiable build, we have a lot of different stuff that actually makes it extremely important for everybody to know what, like where they're putting their money. And so having the possibility of like looking at the repo, seeing if it's the same version of like the repo that is the program that is a mainnet, it's actually very important for the ecosystem right now. We saw that with the recent Camino open source all the repo, Jupiter open source most of the repo, and like we have Drift is open source. Like pretty much like all the biggest DeFi protocol in Solana right now are fully open source, and it's not just about DeFi. We have like, for example, we talked about Metaplex before. All the Metaplex repo are open source. So pretty much everybody that is building something on Solana right now usually open source their stuff. For us, everything that we build, if it's our own product, if it's anything, we always try to open source everything, because personally, this is how I learned how to build great code. like at the start you don't know how to even code. I don't have any formal experience of like writing code. I just like always YOLO'd my code and like try to learn from my error. But like one thing that I always like to do is like when I see a good repo, I always like try to really understand what they're doing, how they're doing, why they wrote the code in a certain way, and like yada yada yada. Because like to be honest, that's the best way to learn how to code. It's just like see a bunch of chat shipping like some crazy stuff, and you're like, oh, I want to be that. And so just like seeing how they did, it's like, and time at a time, you become faster at learning from these open source people. You become better at your own code, and like you can just try to spar with like their decision.
You can just do things.
You can
I
just
think
do things.
it's so crazy that you only started to write code 3 years ago. It's like who else does that on Solana? I think you're like the only prodigy that I know of, at
Uh,
least.
I always like to say I'm an average guy. Like I'm pretty average. Like I'm not super smart. I don't know. Like it's just like I don't know. I just like to do stuff, and I guess like I really um like I'm really autistic, we could say, on like details and like everything. So it's just like if something doesn't seem right, I'm just like going like we'll probably become mad before I actually give like say no, okay, this is fine, it doesn't matter.
Is
So
that
I
like
guess
a cultural thing? Because I would love to have Alessandro on one day, but I think he is the same. He's also from Italy, right?
yeah, it's from Italy, but like to be honest, yeah, Alessandro is so much smarter than me, so that's probably part of the reason why it's such chat. But yeah, definitely is I really stress about the details. You really want to measure things. So yeah, really like Alessandro is one of my favorite persons on Solana. So and he knows it. He knows it. So
All right. Yeah, I'm a huge fan as well. If you're watching, we're totally not fanboying over you. Jesus.
I'll send this clip after to you in chat. So
That's pretty good. So tell me a little bit. You already mentioned the name Pinocchio and Anchor. You said like if I can freely translate it, if I'm all wrong, please correct me. I'm not as deep into the whole developer scene, but yeah, I do love to talk about it. You said like Anchor is like a bicycle with side wheels, but Pinocchio is more like a Ducati with 1,000 cc's.
yeah,
No
I would
guardrails, full throttle, super optimized. Um, you can mess up badly, maybe. Tell us a little bit about Pinocchio and about differences in performance as well.
Yeah, I would say that is like you driving a motorcycle with like rockets on the sides. So it's like you can go really fast, but you can crash as fast as you're going. So yeah. So personally, like if I was a new developer right now, I would definitely start with Anchor. Even if like I'm a big fan of Pinocchio. Like if I can write Pinocchio, I'm gonna write it. But naturally, say it comes with like some sort of like uh not problem, but like some sort of like trade-offs. So first of all, Anchor code is like it's very not basic, but it's like you don't have as much possibility of like creativity, and so it's like it's very defined. It's like if you do something, it's standardized. If you incorporate an account a certain way, this is how you should do it. These are like all the checks that happens. This is like so it's like you always know everything that is going on, and like if somebody comes in and read an Anchor repo, it's like, oh, okay, they know exactly what is going on. They don't need to like do more research and like trying to understand what's going on. And at the same time, it's like it's very Solana related. So it's like if you don't know much about Solana, Anchor is actually the best way to start learning about Solana as well, because like it constrain into like it tells you exactly how you should build on Solana, because like all these constraint actually tells you, oh, you need to build on Solana like using this type of stuff. Like it's not Ethereum, it's not the normal Web 2 APIs. Like now you have state. These are all stateless programs. So Anchor, really huge fan, really like it. It's great. It's a great learning product. Anybody that start learning on Solana should start with that. And it's like the main problem is like once you become a little bit more proficient and like once you became a little bit more creative, a little bit more like trying to do some stuff that maybe you shouldn't do it, but like it's fun to do it, and probably it's like they create a better UX sometimes. At that point, you probably want to move to Pinocchio because like there, no rain, no nothing. It's like use the infrastructure, you're on your own, do it. Based on that, there are different type of stuff that you could do. Like you could create your own macros, you could create your own type of like writing program, you could like you could optimize the entry point. For anybody that doesn't know what the entry point is, it's like you send your transaction and then this entry point pretty much dispatch all the transaction into the different instruction. With Pinocchio, we created like a new way, for example, to handle different type of instruction in a different way. So it's like if there are the transaction that are called very very often, they should always follow like a fast path. And then there are some instruction that don't call it doesn't get called very very often, so probably they should follow like a cold path. And this is like those are like all the little things that naturally like Solana it's like we have so much space on Solana, we have so much like the transaction limits is not an issue, CUs right now are not an issue, and like everything else that probably the gas goal thing that is like trying to optimize as much as possible to reduce the cost of like sending transaction is not really extreme valuable, but at the same time it's like so much fun that we love to do it, so we try to do it as much as possible.
So when we talk about optimization and Pinocchio being more efficient, we're mostly talking about the amount of compute it costs to process anything on chain, basically.
Yeah. I don't know about I don't know what's the right percentage of P token, but like the token program written in Pinocchio, I think it's like 10%. It consumes 10% or like even less of the compute unit of like the original token program. And that token program isn't even written in Anchor because Anchor is even more expensive than native. So you get like a 10x, if not even a 20x in compute when you start optimizing using Pinocchio.
Alexander Gray is in the chat. He's saying Anchor is like learning with a coach, and live ring. Pinocchio's like good luck flapping those hands.
Yeah.
And his next comment is it's about a 97 less compute cost. So 150 compute units for initialize in Anchor that is about 2.6k CUs. So it's crazy how much more efficient that is. So what does that mean for Solana in general? Like when there's going to be more traffic, let's say Solana really becomes the global state machine that we're trying to be, internet capital markets only possible on Solana. I'm probably missing some buzzwords here. What does it mean?
So it means that we can pack transaction more efficiently. So if the normal size like we can pack like X amount of instruction in a certain transaction. If everybody switched to Pinocchio, we could like validate so much faster because it's so like at the end, for anybody that doesn't know what compute unit is, like it's an arbitrary number, but pretty much it represents how much time it takes for the validator to actually deserialize the transaction, re-execute it, and just like validate it and everything else. So less compute unit means we can process more transaction, more transaction, and pack transaction even more than what we currently do. So definitely, it's like if everybody switched to Pinocchio, we could have like way more packed transaction. At the same time, it's like this is not a problem right now because we still have like a lot of space in our transaction. So it's an optimization that now it's not needed. But actually, it's like as you said, it's like once we need to process like the million transaction of like Visa, the million transaction of like the Nasdaq, and like everything else, at that point, might as well just like build everything in Pinocchio. So that's the first thing. Second thing that not a lot of people know is like the cost of deploying program with Pinocchio is so much less. So because like you have so much less bloat that I guess even the cost of like deploying a Pinocchio program is like 7% less than Anchor, if even more. So that's not a good thing for like people that are starting that maybe want to test out their ideas, but they don't want to log so much soul. They can definitely do that with like Pinocchio because it's so much cheaper. So there are a lot of like downstream optimization that we can do by just like switching to Pinocchio. At the same time, I don't recommend it for everybody because it's like it's very hard. You need to validate anything. You really need to understand what you're doing because most of the time it's easy to fuck some things up while switching to Pinocchio.
I need to get a little bleeper going for the F word here. Ooh la la.
Man, I'm Italian. I love to swear. Come on.
Yeah, yeah. It's you said fudge. I know. That's great. So what does it mean for the read layer? Because this is all write layer. For writing, it's gonna be great. Is it also more optimal for reading data for RPCs? It's gonna generate more data per transaction, maybe, or more transactions in general, so which means more indexing, which means more number of transactions potentially, which means more ledger data, which means more compute to serve data, basically.
Yeah, unfortunately for that, I don't think it will actually help, but actually will degrade because at the end of the day, it's like if you're writing Anchor, if you're writing Pinocchio, you're just sending bytes. Like you're changing bytes, you're sending bytes. So if like the instruction data and the construct is the same as Anchor, doesn't really help the read layer. So definitely, if we all switch to Pinocchio and like we now do 10,000 transactions per second, at that point the read layer probably will. I'm not sure like what's the current status, but like definitely wouldn't be as easy as we have it right now. So unfortunately, I don't think there are any optimization that comes from writing Pinocchio program or like writing Pinocchio instruction for the read layer.
All right. So basically, we're saying work harder, Triton. Bah, bah, bah.
Yes, yes, Triton, please.
All right, yeah, we're just gonna do that. All right, awesome. So who created Pinocchio?
It's the Giga Chad Fabo. We
Fable.
all love Fabo. It's a great engineer. He works at ANZA on the program side. He created Pinocchio. I think was like 1 year ago, or maybe I think a year and a half ago, as like some sort of like prototype, some sort of like test to see how much you can push it. And like in a year and a half, we just got like the new release that it's so much better. Like to be honest, the amount of improvement that came from like all the contributor, but Fabo really stressing over the detail. It's just amazing. It's just amazing. So huge shout out to Fabo. He's the one that created P token as well. So huge improvement on that side as well.
Nice. Let's touch up on token standards real quick because you know a lot about token standards. You already mentioned like Metaplex and the SPL token. Now you're mentioning P token. Most people that are watching probably also know token 22. There's some C token coming along from Arkim
Like,
team. Yeah,
oh yeah, no, sorry, Arcum team, and then there are the compressed token as well from Light Protocol.
yeah. So how many token standards are there on Solana, and what are their main differences?
Well, to be honest, there could be infinite token standard on Solana because at the end it's like it's more of like what gets seen. Like could be, like there are I think like there are like more than 100 different standard for NFT and tokens, but like actually the most used is like token metadata for everything token related on the SPL token program because actually that's the only way you can actually show into the explorer, for example, the name of your token. Then there is the on the NFT side, always for Metaplex, there is token metadata, there is core, there is compressed NFTs. Then we have the normal token. There are like if we could call it the official Solana tokens. We have the SPL token, or called by the developer token keg. It's called token keg by the developer just because of the name of the program ID. And this will be odd swapped by P token. So it's not a new standard, but it's like just like the old standard, but like way more optimized. And then we have the token 2022 that is the standard that I don't even I don't think it was released in 2022. To be honest, I think it was released in 2024. So yeah, the name might be misleading, but yeah, I added extensions. So it's like the normal SPL token plus extension that give you superpower in some use cases. And then we have compressed token by Light Protocol to reduce rent and everything else. We have confidential token that are coming with Archium. So yeah, we have a lot of standards. We have a lot of things, but yeah, it's pretty much like suitable for anybody because the biggest difference between the EVM system and the Solana system, the SVM architecture, is that since the program are all stateless, we cannot have ERC. So we cannot have like token that are similar but like behave differently because to build that you will probably need to build a completely different token standard. So yeah, that's the main difference and why we have a lot of token standard but like not a lot of them are used because it's very very difficult to get like integration and everything because it's like there's so much going on that usually it's better to just like focus on like the standard that are widely used.
That's there's so much to it. It's it's too
Yeah.
much to put in like 1 or 2 half hours probably. What is for you the most exciting thing for Solana this year?
Mm, well, I think there is so much going on, to be honest. There is institution, yeah, really, like there is so much thing to be excited about. To be honest, there are like the institutional side that I'm very very excited about. There are like all these the new people coming in. There is the consumers, so like the people that are not really crypto native that are coming onto Solana and everything. But like, to be honest, personally, what I really excited about, but just because like I'm a nerd, is like all the like before it was let's survive. Let's not like the for a lot of time the idea was let's try to like shift as fast as possible, but like at the same time it's like let's survive. So let's not take the chain down. Let's try to like survive. And now I guess like from the last 6 months, like the switch is completely down. It's like okay, now we survived. We currently have a good uptime. Now let's optimize everything that is possible. Like to be honest, the last year when Firedancer was announced, it's like the only path to go to 1 million TPS was we're waiting for Firedancer. Then Alessandro decide, oh, I'm not waiting for Firedancer. I'm gonna get 1 million TPS on Agave, and it just like started optimizing so much that like the performance is the same, and like if you told somebody like this stuff 2 years ago, they would have been thinking that you're crazy. But then Agave like performs so much better, and like all the optimization are so much better. And I might be like part of the thing, but like Blueshift is doing so many optimization on the low level code, so assembly. How to upstream BPF to make to have better compatibility, but not only compatibility, but like even to create a better environment for everybody to code, but even to create a faster environment because like doesn't like we don't want to have our own tool chain to maintain. We want to just get all the optimization that like the biggest company on the planet are putting into Rust. And at the same time, it's like we can put so many of our optimization into the code that is widely used by Meta and like all these giant company. So yeah, I guess like since I'm a nerd, this is what I'm mostly excited about. But definitely, like there is a lot to be excited about for non-nerd people. So the consumer side, the institutional side, and everything else.
So will Blueshift eventually come with their own Solana client?
I'm not sure. We probably could, but like I don't know. Our expertise is more on the compiler, so we're trying to just like optimize that instead of like building another client for other people.
Do you think Solana has enough client diversity? I recently saw that Overclock Validator released
Yeah,
their own version called Mithril, which is not like the basic fork. It runs on a home computer theoretically.
yeah,
We have the Firedancer client, we have the Agave client, we've got Alpenglow. which is more like an upgrade, I think, coming. Does Solana have enough client diversity in your opinion?
I don't think there is never enough client diversity, and so no, we could do better, but at the same time, it's like it's easier to get client diversity on other chain than on Solana, because on Solana we optimize and we update things so much faster that it's difficult to people to catch up. Last year we had to not stop CMDs, but like take a little bit of a break from CMD because we needed Firedancer to catch up with the development, since they were like they were building everything from scratch. So if we continue to add feature to it, it's like it's impossible for them to catch up, because like they're gonna continue to be stuck like building the new feature that they were upgrading. So that, I guess, it's like probably the why it's harder to build new client on Solana. But at the same time, it's like the density of talent that we have here, it's like so much better, and so we yeah we're definitely going to catch up, and I think we will see other clients being built soon.
Awesome. Hopefully, when do you think will the Alpenglow upgrade will happen?
Not sure. We'll need to see. It's big change, because we're changing the consensus. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Unfortunately, I'm not much of an expert on that yet, so um, I can't comment too deeply into what is going to happen. Even because I don't think anybody is going to know what happens.
Yeah, I agree. But it's going to be spectacular for sure, whether it's good or it's bad. Yeah, let's hope they do not do it like on a public holiday or a Friday evening. That would be
Yeah.
bad. Yeah. All right. I'm not sure how much more time you have.
I think we're at time. Unfortunately, I need to dash to another call,
All right.
but we should maybe do it another time as well. Why
All
not?
right. Anything you want to tell the audience, like a small thing you expect from the future devs, or a single thought that you want to provide them with?
I will just say, if you're a nerd, yesterday we released a new we released a new research platform on Blueshift with like two of the most exciting, I think, paper that I read in a while. So if you're Solana dev and want to learn more about like low level stuff, and in general wants to become better and like figure out how to increase bandwidth and reduce latency, definitely those two articles are for you.
What's the URL to the website for Blueshift?
Blueshift.gg.
Blueshift.gg. I'm putting it in the chat right now. So if you're watching, click that thing. Thanks so much for coming on. I'm going to go straight from here to blueshift.gg. And let's continue the conversation sometime else. It was great having you. And yeah, I hope to see you in real life soon.
Me too, fratello. Thank you so much for having me.
Always good to see you, my brother. All right.
Me too. See you guys.
Thanks for watching. Hope to see you guys next week. We're gonna be on Wednesday again. This week I was in Paris on the Wednesday, so yeah, a little change. Yeah, see you next week. I don't know which guest yet, but I'll announce it on my X.